Imagine walking into a room and knowing exactly where everything is: the keys, the wallet, the note you wrote yesterday. Imagine never again forgetting a name, a date, or an idea that flashed through your mind and disappeared before you could catch it. It sounds almost superhuman, doesn't it? But here's the truth: your brain already has that power. You just forgot how to use it. The mind is like a library. Some people keep it dark and dusty, with shelves half empty and books scattered everywhere. Others have it glowing and alive, every memory easy to reach, every story carefully placed where it belongs. The difference isn't in how big the library is, it's in how it's organized. Now, before you think memory is only for geniuses or young students, stop right there. Your brain never stops learning. It never stops creating new paths, new connections, new sparks. Scientists call this neuroplasticity, but let's just call it what it really is: hope. Because it means you can change your memory, no matter your age, no matter how many times you've said, "I'm just bad at remembering things." Let's go back to a moment that every one of us knows. You meet someone new. They tell you their name, maybe John, maybe Sarah, and by the time the handshake ends, it's gone. Vanished. You smile politely, pretending to remember, but inside, your mind is blank. Why does this happen? Because your brain never saw the name. It heard it, sure, but it didn't feel it. The truth is, your brain remembers what it feels, not just what it hears. It's emotional, not mechanical. That's why you can recall a song from 30 years ago, but forget what you had for breakfast. Memory is not storage. It's connection. When something moves you, when it makes you laugh, or worry, or feel curious, your brain opens the door and lets it in. Now think about a movie you watched years ago. You can still remember the scenes, the characters, maybe even the soundtrack. You didn't sit down to memorize it. You just lived it, felt it, experienced it. That's how memory works best, through experience, not effort. So if you want to remember more, you need to start living your learning. When you meet someone, imagine writing their name in your mind with light. When you learn a new English word, don't just repeat it, see it, hear it, feel it in a sentence that means something to you. Don't just learn the word mountain, imagine standing on one. Hear the wind. Smell the cold air. The stronger the image, the stronger the memory. People often say, "I have a bad memory." But what they really have is a bored mind. The brain isn't lazy, it's selective. It remembers what excites it. That's why a child can sing a cartoon song word for word but forget their homework. Emotion is the doorway. Without emotion, the door stays closed. Let's make this real. Imagine an old photograph, maybe it's of you as a child, standing in front of your house, smiling in the sunlight. You can almost smell the air, feel the warmth, hear your mother calling from the porch. Why do you remember that moment so clearly? Because it wasn't just stored in your brain, it was felt in your heart. That's the secret memory never told you. The more emotion you attach to something, the longer it stays. You can test this right now. Think about your favorite teacher. You remember their voice, their face, the way they made you feel smart or safe. But can you recall every detail from your least favorite subject? Probably not. Emotion writes in ink. Repetition writes in pencil. And here's another truth most people miss: remembering is not just about keeping things in. It's also about clearing things out. Every time you fill your mind with endless noise, scrolling, notifications, half-thoughts, your brain gets cluttered. It's like trying to read a book in a messy room. You can't focus because everything is screaming for your attention, so, if you want to remember more, give your brain space to breathe. Silence is not emptiness, it's energy. Some of the world's greatest thinkers, Einstein, Da Vinci, Edison, didn't find answers while working harder. They found them while doing nothing. They let their minds wander. That's when the subconscious, that quiet part of your brain that never sleeps, starts whispering the answers you've been looking for. Now picture this, you wake up early. The sun is rising. You sit with a cup of tea, no phone, no noise. You close your eyes and replay yesterday in your mind, the faces you saw, the ideas you had, the words you learned. You walk through your day like a quiet movie. That 5-minute habit alone could double your memory power. Why? Because you're telling your brain, this mattered. And what matters stays. Here's something else beautiful about memory: the more you use it, the stronger it gets. Just like a muscle. Every time you recall something, like a word, a moment, a lesson, you make that memory more real. It's called recall reinforcement. Think of it as watering a plant. The more often you bring it to mind, the deeper its roots grow. You might be thinking, but what about forgetting? Forgetting isn't failure. It's actually part of remembering. The brain forgets so it can remember what's important. It's like pruning a tree so it grows stronger. The goal isn't to remember everything. The goal is to remember what matters most and make it unforgettable. When you learn English, for example, don't try to remember every word. Focus on the ones that come alive for you, or the ones that tell your story, the ones that move you. Because memory follows meaning. If a word makes you feel something, your brain marks it as valuable. Imagine your brain as a garden. Every idea is a seed. Some will grow tall because you water them with curiosity. Others will fade because you ignore them. The more attention you give, the more your garden blooms. Memory is attention. Attention is love. Now think about this: every time you say, "I can't remember," your brain believes you. It listens to your words. It adjusts. But if you start saying, "My memory is improving every day," your brain listens to that too. Words shape your memory, just like they shape your mood. You talk to your brain more than anyone else. So make that conversation powerful. Some people say memory fades with age. But that's not the whole truth. The brain changes, yes, but it doesn't stop. Older minds have deeper connections, richer patterns, and stronger meaning. That's why older people remember stories better than random facts. Their memories are wiser, not weaker, and if you ever feel like your mind is slowing down, remember this: it's not about speed, it's about depth. A fast memory forgets quickly. A deep memory lasts forever. When you learn slowly, intentionally, with curiosity and emotion, you're engraving. Not just writing. You don't need to be a genius to remember. You just need to care. So, next time you want to remember something, pause. Look at it. Feel it. Ask yourself, why does this matter to me? Give your brain a reason to hold on. And it will, because memory isn't about what you know, it's about what you feel connected to. You know, people often say, "I wish I had a better memory." But the truth is, you already do. You just haven't been treating it like something alive. Your memory isn't a machine, it's a living thing. It grows, it changes, it reacts to the way you treat it. Feed it with chaos, it becomes confused. Feed it with care, it becomes unstoppable. Let's begin with something most people underestimate: rest. Memory loves silence. Memory loves sleep. Every time you fall asleep, your brain starts to organize everything that happened during the day, like a librarian working through the night. It takes the random moments, the emotions, the new things you learned, and quietly files them in the right place. That's why you wake up sometimes with a sudden idea or a memory that seemed lost. It's not magic. It's your brain doing its night shift. If you stay up too late, scrolling, stressing, never giving your mind the break it needs, those memories never get filed. They float around like papers in the wind. You wake up foggy because your mental library never got cleaned up, so, if you want to remember more, protect your sleep. Treat it like treasure. When you lie down at night, close your eyes and play your day backward in your mind. Replay the faces you saw, the things you learned, the moments that made you feel something. It's a gentle way of telling your brain, this is what matters. Keep this safe. Now let's talk about something even more powerful, imagination. If memory is the library, imagination is the artist who paints on its walls. It's what makes facts come alive. Every person with a super memory, those people who remember hundreds of names, numbers, or entire books, uses imagination. They don't memorize. They visualize. Here's how it works. Your brain doesn't actually remember words, it remembers pictures. When you try to memorize a name or a fact, your brain looks for an image to attach it to. The more vivid that image, the stronger the memory becomes. So, if you want to remember, don't just think, see. Don't just repeat, create. Let's say you want to remember a friend named Lily. Don't just say Lily 10 times. Picture a bright white flower glowing in her hair. Make it strange, funny, or emotional, because your brain loves unusual things. The weirder, the better. That's why you can remember a dream full of talking animals, but not the lecture you heard last week. Imagination turns information into emotion. And emotion turns memory into gold. Think about when you were a child. Everything was magical. The smallest things felt huge, a butterfly, a raindrop, the sound of your name. You didn't study those moments, but you remember them. Why? Because your imagination was awake. You were curious. You were feeling life, not just living it. That's what made your memory strong. So if you want your memory to improve, bring that childlike curiosity back. Look at the world as if it's new. When you learn a new English word, don't just write it, taste it. Say it slowly. Hear how it dances in your mouth. See it as color. Turn it into a story, because the truth is, memory is not about remembering words, it's about remembering worlds. Now let's talk about focus, the quiet superpower behind every great memory. We live in a time where our attention is stolen every few seconds. Notifications, noise, flashing screens, they're all fighting for space in your mind. And when attention is divided, memory disappears. You can't remember what you never fully noticed. Try this. Next time you speak to someone, give them your full attention. Look at their face, listen to their voice, notice their eyes. In that moment, your mind is recording everything. You'll remember the conversation not because you forced it, but because you were truly there. Focus is like turning on a spotlight. Whatever you shine it on becomes clear, detailed, unforgettable. But when your focus keeps jumping, your brain gets confused. It doesn't know what to keep. So, it lets go. That's why multitasking kills memory. You think you're doing more, but your brain is doing less. It's not designed to hold two deep thoughts at once. It prefers to finish one, then move to the next. Every time you focus completely on one thing, you're strengthening that memory like a muscle being trained. And here's something beautiful. focus can be trained just like memory. Sit for a few minutes every day and do one simple thing: breathe. No phone, no music, no distractions. Just breathe and listen to your thoughts passing by like clouds. That small act of calm builds the foundation of focus. When focus grows, memory follows. Now, let's step into something deeper, the emotional power of meaning. You remember what matters. You forget what doesn't. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. The brain knows what to protect. So, if you want to remember something forever, give it meaning. When you study, don't ask, "How can I remember this?" Ask, "Why does this matter to me?" That simple question changes everything. Because when something has purpose, it sticks. You can't forget what becomes part of your story. Let's take an example. Imagine learning the word freedom. You can memorize it, or you can feel it. Think about what freedom means to you, and maybe it's the first time you spoke your mind, or traveled alone, or stood up for yourself. Now that word becomes yours. You don't just know it, you own it. That's what memory loves: ownership. When you make knowledge personal, it stops being information and starts being identity. Some people think they have a weak memory because they forget names or dates. But often, it's not weakness. It's just lack of connection. The more connected you feel to something, the deeper it goes. Memory isn't storage, it's relationship, and relationships take attention, emotion, and care. Now, let's bring all this together: sleep, imagination, focus, meaning, and see what happens. Imagine you're sitting at your desk, studying English. The room is quiet. Your phone is away. You write down a word, let's say journey. You say it out loud. You imagine yourself walking down a long road, feeling the sun on your face. You smile because you know every day is a journey, and this word now belongs to you. Later that night, before bed, you replay your day in your mind. You remember that word again, journey. You whisper it softly and feel that same image return. Your brain smiles back at you and stores it. The next morning, the word comes naturally. It's yours. Forever, that's memory in motion. That's what learning feels like when it's alive, and if you ever doubt yourself, remember this truth: your brain is not aging, it's adapting. Every new word, every memory, every challenge you take on is building new pathways. It's proof that you're still growing. There's a saying, the dullest pencil remembers better than the sharpest mind. In other words, write things down. When you write, you're telling your brain, this is real. Writing turns thought into action, and action into memory, so make memory physical. Speak it. Write it. Draw it. Teach it. Every time you use it in the real world, it becomes part of you. The greatest memories aren't the ones stored perfectly, they're the ones lived deeply. And here's one final secret most people never realize: forgetting isn't your enemy. It's your teacher. When you forget something, your brain isn't failing, it's asking for more connection. It's saying, make this meaningful for me. Every time you forget and relearn, the memory grows stronger. Forgetting is the polishing that makes remembering shine. So, don't fear forgetting. Use it. Laugh at it. Learn from it. And keep feeding your mind with life, curiosity, emotion, and purpose. Because your brain listens to the way you live, every word you speak, every story you feel, every dream you chase, your memory is watching. It's not your past. It's your future waiting to be written, so go out and remember everything that matters. Not because you want to show off how much you know, but because remembering is another way of loving life. I share stories like this every day. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one.